What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 3, and it's actually going to go. Good, I was a little bit scared. This is going to be a best-of-2 series between Union Gaming on the Dire. Radiant is going to be played by Top5, and it is, standard Join Dota League stuff, 2 games, so just, that's all that's going to be played. I'm Mike Loris, I'm one of your casters. I'm joined, as per usual, by Grandis V. Grandis, how are you doing?
Oh, doing wonderful. Just came off of a day full of Dota pubs. This one a lot better than yesterday. Yesterday was yucky.
Yeah, my recent Dota pub experience have been bad.
I saw your MMR. It's not pretty.
It was pretty, and then it was no longer pretty. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully these two teams are going to perform a lot better than either of our respective pub experiences, though it seems like Top5 are running with a couple of stand-ins. I don't know if I've ever seen them play with blue or purple before, so I don't know. I'd say Top5 are already kind of at a disadvantage versus Union Gaming, and then playing with one more stand-in doesn't exactly help either.
Yeah, it really doesn't. On the side of Union Gaming, I think that's more or less their standard lineup, although SAD might be one stand-in. I don't know, I'm not sure what server we're actually playing on for this first game. I think it's US East, so that could also factor into how they play. I'd expect this to be fairly even though we are running with stand-ins on Top5.
Yeah, SAD is a person that I've seen around, more or less, for Union Gaming. I believe it's Angel, I want to say, although that could just be a completely different team that I'm thinking of that usually plays for Union. Regardless, it's just one hero, one player rather, that is going to be swapped out, and that's perfectly manageable because we've seen them play with SAD before. But yeah, this is going to be just a very slow-looking draft, it seems. Tidehunter getting a ban first. Lycan is also kicked out. Brewmaster, Razor, Void should be pretty much the standard fare.
Void, and right now it's just kind of what Union Gaming want to let through to the first pick, and what they want to snag for their first two. Yeah, Doom, Razor, probably what they're contemplating banning. Brewmaster also available. Scarth Mage if they want to give some support hate, excuse me. But yeah, I don't expect anything out of the ordinary to be banned just yet.
Alright, Union Gaming, you're taking a little bit too long. Let's pick this up a little bit, because Tidehunter ban, as kind of odd as it is, it's acceptable, I would say. It's right up there with Nature's Prophet, I would say, as heroes that are picked so often that you might want to consider first banning them, but it's kind of in that fringe category. If they don't go for, if it's probably going to be like a Brewmaster, Razor, something along those lines. Death Prophet, Tinker, kind of like the Tidehunter, in that they are seen quite often, but first banned not all the time. So Union Gaming, they're definitely taking their sweet time with this one, and well, it's better be an amazing ban. If it's just like a Brewmaster, I'm gonna be a little bit upset.
It's a Doom,
Damn.
so yeah, nothing too crazy. Union Gaming don't want to play against that hero, and it's definitely warranted. I was going to check whether or not they were disconnected, but there you go, they're in the game, and they're going to let the Razor through. The Top5 are going to snag up nothing outlandish, but Union Gaming, they have pretty much the cream of the crop when it comes to sports, and I'd expect either Shadow Shaman or Scarth Mage here to follow up with that Death Prophet pick. Would give them some good pushing, but instead they go for the Viper. I don't know, can't really go wrong with these first two. They lane pretty well, especially Viper. Death Prophet is going to have the burden of going for mech, which a lot of South American teams do go for, taken off of her, as Viper is going to be the one to snag that up for their team. And then it's just get mech, get level 11 on your Death Prophet, and start pushing down towers. And they can do that very effectively.
You can't really go wrong with the Viper Death Prophet opening. Much like how for Top5, you can't really go wrong with the Razor opening. I think Top5 would benefit them a little bit more than it would be for Union Gaming if they picked up a support, and they will, in fact, do that. Shadow Shaman is going to be picked, partially so Union Gaming don't pick it up themselves, partially because it's just a good hero to have in general. And with the support already, or with one support already on their team for Top5, they could heavily ban out supports and really restrict the support choice for Union Gaming, whereas Shadow Shaman, he can be partnered with pretty much any support, and he'll be fine, as long as he has access to either Brown Boots or some other way to get him close for a Shackle, he'll be just fine.
Yeah, we are probably going to see either Wraith King or Scarth Mage banned out by Top5, and then the other one may or may not be picked by Union Gaming. I would expect Union Gaming to not ban out supports in this first ban, at the very least, and see what Top5 are going to ban. Because if Top5 ban out the support, then they can just leave it in the pool and snag it up with their first pick. And if Top5 do ban out a support, you can just leave the support that you want in the pool and ban the other one out, whether it be that Wraith King or the Scarth Mage, whichever one you have priority over.
So I think for Union, the priority is probably going to be targeting the core heroes. You should probably kick out a Brewmaster right now. It's just a hero that you probably don't want to see. There we go, Union Gaming. Hell yeah. Brewmaster, Centaur, heroes of that caliber that are just generally annoying to deal with. Whereas top 5, because they do have that one support already, they're going to target the cream of the crop. It's going to be Scarth Mage and Earthshaker kicked out from Union Gaming, though Union, they'll pretty much always have a wide array of supports to choose from, especially with a Viper Death Prophet opening. They don't have any melee limitations just yet, so they'll be able to comfortably pick up a melee support and be just fine, whether that's Sand King or Wraith King or any other king, doesn't really matter.
In chat, first in the band coming out from Union Gaming, a very peculiar one actually. I'd expect Wraith King to be the pick here, but if they do want to get that offlane hero, they could get the other pushing Prophet and the Nature's Prophet, or they could snag up the Centaur. I don't think either of those would really be a bad pick, although it's not really pushing their lineup towards either direction with those. They could do a lot with those three, depending on what their supports are.
And they don't really have to go in any particular direction with these two heroes that they have. Viper and Death Prophet, extremely versatile. You could take this game pretty late if you're Union Gaming and feel pretty comfortable against what top 5 have right now. So if they do want to end the game early and really turn up the heat in the early stage of the game, they can do so, and if they want to do that, then maybe going for a Treant Protector is going to be the order of business for Union, or something along those lines. But if they don't, that's fine too. They could play this extremely slow, get a Sand King jungling up, and maybe roam him a little bit early on, but in general, just wait until the Sand King gets Blink Dagger, and then try to make some plays, and go into more of the team fighting camp, which is going to be an option as well. For top 5, they are kind of in the same situation. They're now facing down a Centaur, so Union Gaming with all 3 cores, they are pretty aggressively slanted, I would say, especially the Centaur, who wants to get his Blink Dagger and then wants to non-stop go for killing people.
Yeah, it's more or less going to be 20 minutes in where Union Gaming are going to start 5-manning down towers, and 12 minutes is where the Centaur wants to get his Blink, although in the offlane that can be delayed by quite some time depending on how many towers drop down. Batrider, the pickup for top 5, probably going to be their offlane hero. Just another really solid initiator, can focus on the single target initiations more than the Centaur can, but then again, Centaur is more focused on getting down those single targets, more so than a Tidehunter, kind of a middle of the ground hero. But either way, Batrider, they don't have the greatest spells to focus them down, although pulling him into the plasma field, getting a static link off during the lasso is still going to be wonderful, and there's plenty of picks to remedy that.
Yeah, and even if you just bring him back into a Shadow Shaman, that'll be fine. Union Gaming, their support pick is going to be a Naga Siren. I said before that the wide range of supports for Union Gaming is going to allow them to pick up potentially a melee support, and it looks like that will be the case. Now, normally you don't really see support Naga Siren anymore unless it's a direct response to a Faceless Void on the field, which currently isn't the case. So, Union Gaming with a Naga Siren pickup, I don't know. I mean, the song is always really good against Batrider, as is the net, but is that unique enough to warrant a pick for the support? Because she doesn't actually do that much in lane.
I would say no. I would have liked to see a Vengeful Spirit from Union Gaming, especially if they're looking to angle at countering the Batrider, as that swap is arguably a lot better than the song at stopping a Batrider initiation, and the song's going to do very little other than that. Yeah, also on the dire side, Venge would be really nice to get in the Roshan pit, and maybe they pick up the Venge still, as they're fairly low on the other supports that they could snag up. Although she is fairly low range, she's going to benefit very heavily if they go aggressive early on with the Centaur. The Naga Siren does feel kind of out of place. Top 5 snag themselves up a Sand King. This Sand King Shadow Shaman combo, it relies very heavily on getting boots first, and after the first kill or so, they don't really do much. Shadow Shaman sits in lane and Sand King sits in the jungle, which might be fine for top 5, but they're going to rely very heavily on their jungle farm. If Union Gaming commit just a couple of wards to block the large camps on the side of top 5, their Batrider and Sand King's farm is going to be delayed. Even if it's for a couple minutes, that could be crucial when you're talking about a Blink Dagger timing.
I think Union Gaming are... I think top 5 are going to be okay with this combination, though, because Union Gaming, their supports are, so far, with the Naga Siren, inherently static as well. Like, she doesn't really roam around that greatly. Like, she can ensnare you and Riptide you. That's not a big deal. Like, when you're talking about a Burrow Strike on the other end, I'd rather get hit by a Riptide than a Burrow Strike, really. So, top 5, although they are a little bit passive right now with their supports, or potentially passive, they can also play this aggressively, and yeah, with the Disruptor pickup as well, the roaming support duo from Union Gaming isn't that deadly. It's really the core hero who's already sitting in the lane that you have to worry about, and in that case, Sand King, Shadow Shaman should be fine to apply pressure where they want to and really call the shots there. And also top 5, the core heroes in the lanes are no slouches themselves, so Batrider, though he will get hit pretty hard by the Disruptor, is going to be more than likely fine in the lane, especially if he gets a little bit of help from his supports. Top 5, they are going to be very reliant on the jungle, as you said, to stack up for the Batrider as well as the Sand King, but I think they should be able to manage. It doesn't seem like it's completely out of their grasp.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm not very fond of this last pick Disruptor. It does really stymie pretty much all of the aggression they can do early with their supports. Glimpse is useful, so is Net, but it's not anything that Top 5 can't deal with. The Centaur War Stomp, if it doesn't land, they're probably not going to get kills. If the Viper hasn't harassed them down low enough, they're probably not going to get kills. And similar story for the Death Prophet. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the Union Gaming cores if they want to knock down enemy heroes. The last pick for Top 5 is an Ember Spirit. Currently, they have very little lockdown for him outside of the Silence from the Disruptor, as well as the Centaur War Stomp and the Silence from the Death Prophet. If those don't land, this Ember Spirit could have a really good time. And if his positioning is good, I don't think he'll get caught out. Especially if you have the Batrider and Sand King making the space for him in the fights. I like this last pick.
Yeah, the Ember Spirit doesn't really have many great answers coming out from the Union Gaming side, so assuming the Ember Spirit doesn't get completely smashed within the first 5-10 minutes of the game, he should be able to get his farm up, get his levels up, and then from there on out, just do Ember Spirit things. Just jump around everywhere and kill everyone, and hopefully the Disruptor is not going to catch him with the kinetic field. That's pretty much the worst case scenario for the Top 5, but now I think they would have more than enough damage and more than enough lockdown to benefit off of the lasso that you mentioned before. It doesn't really have that much follow-up. Between Ember, Sand King, and Shadow Shaman, no one is going anywhere once they're lassoed. Unless it's potentially Centaur who could survive it. And Union Gaming, I mean, they are fairly tanky heroes, but Top 5, they can put out a lot of damage. Like, Sand King is a very high damage hero, especially once he gets his Blink Dagger, and then Ember Spirit, of course, is kind of the same way. So, looks like we are going to start our game, as games usually start, with a pause, and Union Gaming currently down 3 players. 2v5, go.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to say, we are going to jump into the game. And on the Radiant side, we do have all of the members of Top 5 currently loaded in. And those members are going to be Patzol playing on the Razor, Fly on the support Sand King. The other support's going to be Linga on the Shadow Shaman, I believe standing in. Although Top 5 are kind of in a state of flux right now. Os is going to be playing on the Ember Spirit. And last but not least, Bob, Batrider, is going to be playing on the Batrider.
I'm pretty sure someone once said somewhere that it was like, come fight me or something like that on Batrider. Like, that's what it means. I could be wrong about that. I'm not going to pretend to know. But yeah, Batrider is definitely a regular member of Top 5, although still his name is pretty crappy. Patzol seems like a new person. I don't recognize that name at all.
Patzol is definitely not a new person on Top 5. I've seen his name before. Maybe it's relatively new, but I'm pretty sure Top 5 have been playing in with him for a while.
Alright, well, maybe I just haven't seen him, because, as you said, Top 5 have been running with a lot of stand-ins recently, and you can see in this game it's clearly the case. So, on the Union Gaming side, we have Sad playing the Centaur Warrunner, Benjez is going to be handling the Viper, Cedrillin is going to be on the Death Prophet. We got 2 other players, Jericho as well as Zinder. I don't really know what they're going to be playing, but it's going to be some combination of Naga Siren and Disruptor for Union Gaming, and well, we'll see how these lanes actually work out for Top 5. I don't think the Ember Spirit is going to have a fun time if you send him mid, so you probably would want to send the Ember Spirit down on the bottom lane and have at him with the Centaur. With a little bit of Shadow Shaman backup, he should have enough time to get his farm, and then, Patzol and the Batrider, they'll be fine to do their own things in their own lanes. So I think it's probably the best way for Top 5 to lane it, and then at that point it becomes, do UG know about this, and do they want to kind of play some mind games and mix up the lanes a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much going to sum up how the lanes are going to pan out. Or if they work for Top 5, that's probably how it's going to work. Let's see, the Batrider, I think his name is Legendary, if I'm not mistaken, since he is a regular member of Top 5. Petzl is on the official Join Dota lineup, although he might have been switched around and they might be experimenting with different lineups. So yeah, right now it's just a waiting game until Union Gaming get all their players into the game. Who knows how long that'll take.
It's the trademarked Union Gaming tactical pause. They have to know who everyone on Top 5 is playing, because that will definitely change how they match their lanes or something like that. Okay, Jericho is playing the Disruptor, guys. We know this fact now. That means Naga Siren is going to be played by Zinderls, who I still have not asked how to pronounce his name. I keep on meaning to, but I just never get around to it.
Yeah, I have to. I think it's just Zender, but I don't know. Let's see. I have some time. I can look that up. If this is going to help at all, let's see.
I don't think it's going to help at all. Like, unless you find someone else who knows for a fact how to pronounce it, it's probably just going to be fruitless.
So in Join Dota, his name is ZNDER Steel, like the metal.
Uh-huh.
Zender Steel? Is that like a thing?
I have no
I'm
idea.
going to
It doesn't sound like a
some-
thing. It might be a thing.
Okay, it's... Okay, so it's not in Liquipedia for Dota 2.
This man doesn't exist. And if he did exist, I doubt you would find a phonetical spelling.
Well, Liquid Dota, they have some phonetical spellings. Like, I've been able to find at least 5 there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
They're very useful in that respect, but he's not listed. Yeah. I don't know. Z-Ender Steel.
Alright, it looks like everyone from Union Gaming, they're in the lobby, but now top 5 they're gone. We're playing a little bit of musical chairs, Dota 2 style. Let's get off this, get me on to someone else, here we go. Alright, just taking a quick look at all the Union Gaming heroes. They're looking quite fierce, especially the Naga Siren who just finally decided to load in. But it looks like we actually have everyone in the game, guys, so let's see what's actually going to go down. Where do you think these supports are going to land for Union Gaming?
Honestly, I have no idea. I think that their lanes are stable enough to where they could roam for a lot, but then again, you have a Naga Siren Disruptor roam. What's that actually going to do? They might consider going aggressive, and if this First Blood works out, maybe they will. Then again, they don't really have great aggressive potential, so I'm not sure where these supports are going to end up. Dual lanes might benefit them the most so that they can get as much experience on the supports as possible. It could work. I have no idea. We'll have to see.
Alright, well, for right now, they're going down into the enemy side of the map. I rarely see these smoke level 1 ganks actually doing anything. I think it's not to kill people. If they find someone, great, but it's more for blocking off the camps, making sure that the hard stacks of the jungle camp for top 5 are not available for stacking, so that Sand King, as well as the Bat Rider, don't get that extra acceleration. So that's probably what the priority is here for Union Gaming. I don't think they're actually going to run into anyone, and even if they did, they would have to run into the Shadow Shaman to get a for sure kill. Razor might be able to survive, possibly.
Potentially. I don't know. I think it is just to block off the camps. If they find somebody that might be icing on the cake, but I'm not sure it's going to happen. Right now, I'm actually experiencing a really weird FPS lag, but it's only when I'm looking at the top 5 heroes, or the Union Gaming heroes. I'm not sure what it is. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that, but it's fine as long as I'm not looking at them.
That's freaking weird, man. It's yeah, maybe it's like the smoke particle or something. It like paused it at a bad time, and your computer doesn't like it. Because smoking kills.
Now it's fine.
So.
That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Okay, that was disorienting, but we're paused again, and I don't like it.
Yeah, pausing kind of sucks. Well, Bat Rider isn't going to have any part of this bottom lane. As predicted, he is going to be going up top, where most likely it's going to be a Viper going. He does have boots, and actually Centaur, if he goes up there, is going to be fine as well, though I think Centaur is probably going to benefit a lot more from having the Disruptor and Naga Siren here. If Union Gaming do want to lane this super aggressively, then I'm pretty sure they could get away with it. Jericho as well as Ender, they're okay, and like, Naga Siren has a lot of armor, so she's survivable as far as that is concerned. But as far as killing off Razor, it's kind of far-fetched, but killing off Shadow Shaman or the Sand King, that's definitely realistic.
Yeah, I just wish that the teams would communicate and tell us what's actually going wrong. They say lag, but what does that actually mean? Let me check the pings. For the players, it's looking okay, with the exception being Sad, working at 225, but that's still playable, although not great.
Yeah, he's probably not too happy about that. No? Okay.
Sorry, that registered just way too slow.
That was, to be fair, that was terrible, so there's also that.
Right over my head. I don't even know. I wasn't even thinking about his name.
Well, I mean... Ugh.
That's awful. I just came
Guys.
off of a game with 227 ping. It's not that bad.
Oh,
now it is.
UG. The hammer is dropped. We're playing this game. Deal with it.
Of all teams, okay. I'm not even gonna say anything. That's
what's the right word for this? It's not karma. This is definitely not karma.
It's hypocritical.
Oh yeah, I would. Yeah, that sounds fine. The hypocrisy runs deep with Union Gaming. There we go. Okay, so they're still like really far in the jungle. Although, if Top 5 were watching the stream, which I hope they weren't, Top 5, please be good people and don't watch the stream because you should know about this by this point. But yeah, just the observe wards to block off some of the harder camps and make sure to mess with the pulls just a little bit. Looks like Jericho will take care of 2 camps right now, and 1 sentry will take care of the hard camp. So, as predicted, the plan wasn't to get kills, and they didn't run into anyone either. Sand does have a sentry ward, set of sentry wards available, but killing off the ward blocking the hard camp, or the middle hard camp, I guess, is a little bit difficult because usually the observer ward is in place there.
Yeah, it's not. It's a pretty decent ward placement, although it's unconventional. It's going to give them good vision of where the Sand King's rotating to, as well as blocking the camp. It's a good spot for sure.
Alright, so let's see if Fly could actually pinpoint these wards. I think he's going to assume that there's one. Oh, that's a miss. Sucks to be you, Fly, but there is actually nothing blocking your pole camp, so I guess Top 5 could be okay with that, but unfortunately for them, they're going to waste 2 wards for it. Oh, man. This is just such a depressing start for Top 5. Like, nothing has taken any damage yet, but still, just wasting an entire set of sentry wards to do literally nothing and not having these pole camps. Oh, it's not a good start for Top 5 already.
I mean, he's completely dewarded a small camp, so he's going to have the small camp to pull, and that'll give some nice experience to them, but his farming camps are all but gone. The exception being the medium camp next to mid lane, but that's it. And that's all he's going to have for 7 minutes. I don't think he's going to find enough money to get himself another sentry ward, and he might be forced to, but by that time it might be too late. Yeah, currently the lanes are going to work out for Union Gaming as they get the D-word on the Observer for the Bat Rider, going to make his life a little bit more difficult. Although he's not going to die, or at least I wouldn't expect him to. Unless he oversteps his bounds, he's not going to be able to get much out of this. And with his jungle being warded, there's not much for him there either. So, well, they'll start it with a net, and the poison attacks are going to come out with the Firefly. I think he's just going to be able to back off. There is a nice glimpse. It will pull him back in the rest of the team. Now he's going towards the north. The poison attack slows. It's going to be enough. It will. Benyaz draws first blood, and I didn't expect it to happen, but I suppose level 1 glimpse was enough. Yep, just caught out too aggressively.
I have no idea why the Bat Rider decided to fly north. He could have just gone the exact same route where he was going before he got glimpsed and have been just fine, but going, like, bending upwards back into the Union Gaming side was suicidal. He could have, I'm pretty sure he could have just flown out to the south and it would have been just fine. So either way, it's going to be Union Gaming drawing first blood off of using both the glimpse as well as an ensnare. They are kind of low level and not really impressive disables, but when you have that much damage consistently going the way the Bat Rider, plus that extra slow from Viper's poison attack, it's going to be enough to get kills, and it'll be difficult to replicate that, seeing as though the Bat Rider does have boots and he should be a little bit, should be playing a little bit safer, but it's definitely possible for these 2 supports to get kills on this Bat if he does get caught too far out of position, especially once level 3 comes out. There is Riptide as well as a Thunderstrike soon to be on the Disruptor, so ganking is going to be a lot easier for them. But taking a quick look at the middle lane, Ember Spirit 5 for Overs, the 15 for 4 of Siderlin. This is pretty much to be expected. Ember Spirit does not have a good matchup versus this Death Prophet. The constant right-click harassment is actually forcing us to go for a Sleight of Fist build, I think just to last hit. This is not the build you want to go versus anyone, really. Usually it's going to be Flame Guard.
Yeah, right now it's just the oh my goodness, I can't speak, but it is the less common build, as it doesn't do enough damage in the mid-game to really warrant its use. Bat Rider up top, he really can't show his face anymore with the 3 points up, or 3 levels up on Benyaz and nearing level 4. Bat Rider is going to try to steal his stack, and he's going to be pretty successful, but dropping very low. He needs to be careful. I think that's going to force the Bat Rider all the way back to base. Fly does not have a salve for him, and now Fly's going to get netted up. They have a glimpse available, count to 3, and pull him back in. Does he have the range? No, he doesn't have the mana for glimpse, and wouldn't have been able to catch him up anyway. So Fly, it looks like he's going to survive. He has a Burrow Strike that he can use to get away. Oh no, the Crypt Storm coming out from Siderland is going to be enough to secure that kill. He held his Burrow Strike for quite a long time there. He will be back, but 2 kills going the way of Union Gaming. This game is starting out a lot better than I thought it would for them.
I think that was just a little bit over greedy as they go on for the bottom lane. Sad is going to get shackled up, and he's almost going to kill off the Shadow Shaman, but unfortunately almost doesn't pay the bills. He's going to go down as finally Top 5 get on the board, but that's it's a nice kill for sure, it's killing off the Centaur, but it's nothing that the Centaur can't recover from. Whereas, you know, getting a kill for the Death Prophet for Union Gaming is just so much more important. She has her bottle, and she's holding on to 600 gold as well. And they're going to go for Batrider one more time. Glimpse, I believe, has already been used. Yes, it has been. But the poison attack with the final lightning strike, thunder strike rather, is going to get the kill. This Batrider is not having a fun time on this top lane. You would expect him to be doing a lot better, or at the very least not dying as much. Having this many deaths on your Batrider this early on is kind of uncharacteristic, especially against such a lane that doesn't have that much kill potential.
Yeah, Benyaz, he can't resist the urge to get a 4-minute Midas, and honestly, I can't blame him. Getting a mechanism this early wouldn't have actually done much. Although the power treads and what have you would have been nice for lane domination, it seems that he doesn't need it, and the supports coming in from top 5 aren't really going to be able to gank very effectively, especially when you consider that Fly is level 1. He's not going to be doing anything. Level 3 in the Shadow Shaman's a little bit better, but neither of them have boots. Well, Sand King does. I take that back. But still, Viper is going to be safe to go for his Midas and still get mech at a decent timing, especially... yeah, I don't think there's anything that's going to stop him from doing so, bar like a really good rune for the Ember Spirit to gank with.
And even if he does go up there, level 3 Sleight of Fist is not really what you want to have if you're going to be ganking. It does do a little bit of damage, I guess, but it's a skill that scales, and that's usually why you see Sleight of Fist being delayed and prioritized. You instead prioritize the skills that don't scale. In the Flame Guard, it's just going to be doing flat damage the entire time, so that's usually the reasoning there. Is top 5's Fly, they get caught out in the jungle. That's a huge double edge. That's a level 2? It doesn't seem like a level 2. He's going to get glimpsed back now into the clutches of Centaur, and that's going to be yet another kill onto this Sand King, who's still, by the way, level 1. They're going to go in for Sad, though, and the Plasma Field and the Shackle, that's going to kill off the Centaur, who decided to stick around to kill a couple of creeps. Never a good idea, making it a 1-for-1 trade overall. Union Gaming, they just have to make sure that that doesn't happen. Austin's going to try to chase down Jericho. Unfortunately, though, he misses the chains. Oh, man, that's uncharacteristic from Ember Spirits in general. Maybe not my Ember Spirit, but definitely in a game like this, you should not be missing chains like that.
Yeah, that would have been a very easy kill for the on the Disruptor if he'd landed him, which is very unfortunate. The Ember Spirit kind of needed that kill. He's level 6. He has nothing to his name other than the Stout Shield, Boots, and Bottle, and that's pretty much all he's going to have for quite some time. Top lane, the Batrider, almost completely zoned out, does have his level 5 now, however, and he's going to start saving up for that Blink. Our DP, having the time of her life in middle lane, is going to send just a completed Magic Wand to herself with the Bottle of Phase Boots. An old Talisman, she has a lot of items to help her out in lane, which is wonderful. If you look at Fly, he's just having a terrible time, finally finds level 2. And now level 3, he can jungle now, and his camps are available, finally, for the Sand King. So maybe there's some hope of recovery. Is up in top, we have a Naga Siren that's going to take quite a bit of damage from the Batrider, but Batrider can't really commit for this, as she doesn't have enough stacks of Sticky, even though one is going to drop her pretty low.
So despite Batrider's kind of poor start and dying, well, hold that, we're going to go for middle lane as the chains do land, as well as the Burrow Strike. Another teleportation in, it's going to be the Shadow Shaman, but Death Prophet has a haste rune. She is home free so very easily, and she will be just fine, it looks like. But yeah, top 5's Batrider up on top lane, though he has died a couple times. He's been messing with this hard camp near, I guess, the hard pull camp, I guess you could say, on the top lane so much that he's been getting so much experience. If you take a quick comparison between him and Sad, the Batrider is very far ahead as far as experience is concerned. And the Centaur has a kill under his belt, whereas the Batrider does not. So it's going pretty well for the Batrider, even though he has died twice. His farm isn't really there, which is kind of to be expected, but his levels are. Now Jericho is going to run straight into a Sand King as well as a Shackle. This is going to be a very dead Disruptor. Razor is going to get the 3rd kill of his game so far. His mech is already completed, which would have been replicated on the Viper if not for the Hand of Midas, but Viper almost has his. So Razor and Viper are doing both very well, so when it comes down to it, it's going to be a fairly even fight as far as the cores are concerned, the safe lane cores, but then Ciderlin is just doing so much better than the Ember Spirit, and once she decides to pop off the Exorcism, this tower is going to fall, and I think it might even fall without it.
Viper has his mechanism completed, he just hasn't flown it to himself on the courier. Oh no, he's 500 gold away. I thought that was a mechanism recipe. Oh my goodness, I'm terrible. We do have a smoke up top from Jericho as well as Zinder, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to do much with this, although if Batrider shows his face and tries to Firefly to clear the creep wave, he might fall. The smoke is going to pop on the Naga Siren as well as Disruptor, and slowly this tower is going to fall. The Ember Spirit disconnects as Death Prophet gets a tier 1 mid.
Pause gaming, fantastic. We get to see and another nice gray screen, but I guess now there's a little bit more to talk about. We could go over this item progression that we're seeing from both sides. The Viper taking a small detour in the Hand of Midas. A 4-minute Midas is fantastic. It doesn't really matter. I don't care who you are. If you get a Midas that fast, you're probably going to be contributing a whole lot to the game. And after this mech, Viper could tank up, or he could just go for straight damage if he really wanted to. So that's a pretty nice pickup for a Viper, and he's pretty much on par with the Razor at this stage of the game. Sunderland doesn't have anything just yet, but with 1200 gold, I'm expecting to see a Yule Scepter as he does take down the Tier 1 tower, and it will be destroyed by the Death Prophet, so she got the last hit as well. She's loaded. The rest of the heroes on UG, not much of anything. Centaur is going to be looking for his Blink Dagger, but Jericho as well as Zinder, they are probably just going to go with no items for the majority of the game.
Yeah, I'd say that that's pretty fair. These supports just aren't having a good time at all. Yeah. Fly, he has his 2 points up in the Sandstorm now, but no stacks have been made, despite the camps being unblocked by the timing out of the wards that were dropped very early on in the game. So this Sand King, he's not going to have a Blink Dagger for at least another 4 minutes, and that's hopeful thinking, to be honest. We're probably going to see 15 minutes if Fly sits in the jungle and continuously stacks until he gets it. And even then, I'm not sure if the Sand King's going to do that. He's probably just going to try to group up with this team, stack when he can. But yeah, this Sand King is going to play more or less like an Earthshaker in style. As the Earthshaker is going to fight a lot, but he can't farm, and the Sand King, that's really where he comes out on top of the Earthshaker. Sand King's still only level 4 at 8 minutes, and it's not shabby by any means, but it's not great either.
Unfortunately for the Sand King, his Fissure only has like 400 range or something like that, so it's not that useful as far as just catching up people instantly, unless Linga sets up something beforehand, which is a possibility, but Shadow Shaman with only brown boots is probably not ever going to catch up to a Centaur who's packing Tranquils. So this levels are coming up a lot more for the Shadow Shaman, which is, I guess, still pretty good for top 5. A level 6 Shadow Shaman can give you so much tower gold if you use the Serpent Wards correctly, and by that I mean every single time those Serpent Wards are up, you go for a tower push, or a Roshan, or anything along those lines, or a big team fight even. Every single time if they do that, then Fly is going to very quickly overcome his lack of farm and lack of stacks, because he'll just have so much tower gold swimming around that he'll be able to pick up a Blink Dagger. It will still not be the fastest Blink Dagger timing in the world, not by any means, but if they do go for these tower pushes fast, then top 5 can very much so make up the fact that the Sand King is kind of falling behind, and, well, their entire team is falling behind in general. Though top 5, they don't actually have that much pushing power. Besides the Serpent Wards, they don't have any pushing heroes until Razor gets an Aghanim Scepter, and that's so far away.
Yeah, Linga is still almost a complete level away from that crucial level 6 for the Shadow Shaman. Yeah, so we're just kind of waiting for the Ember Spirit to get back into Dota. I'm assuming he's the one that was having the real ping issues on their team. Can't be sure, though.
Alright, well, it's not much else to say at this point. I mean, it's been a kind of a back and forth game a little bit, with the respective offlaners not getting too much and the safe farmers getting a whole bunch. Supports, as expected, not really roaming that heavily until UG actually roaming kind of unfortunately down to the bottom lane. Wasn't that great for them, but both towers on the off lane looks like they will be pushed, and I don't know if these towers are actually going to go down from either side, really. No siege creep for the Dire on their lane, and Viper only has 1 point Nether Toxin, so he's not actually doing too much damage here, but yeah, I don't know. This the curse is real, I guess. The curse is going to continue forever.
Forever, it seems. I don't see an end to this. Honestly, I would have thought that the game would have been better if we just remaked, or remade, I suppose, is probably the better way to say it, although it's not great.
It's too late. Union Gaming. They said no.
They said no.
There's nothing you can do about that, unfortunately. So, is it cosmetic time? Is it that time already? It's kind of early for cosmetic time.
I don't know, it doesn't feel early. Like, it feels like we've been in this game forever.
$200 for 200 ping. Well, it's like $1 a ping.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sounds like a deal.
Now we know how much ping costs.
I only spent like $50 on my ping.
Really? Well, I spent
Unless
nothing.
I'm going to EU West, then I pay like $220 to ping.
That's rough, man. That's
Yeah.
really rough.
It is rough.
If only they made ping cheaper. Or, yeah, cheaper. That makes sense.
I don't know. I think the only cosmetics that are interesting are the Bat Riders.
Yeah,
I
these
actually...
cosmetics suck.
They do, which is what makes them interesting. I heavily dislike them.
Oh, the Shadow Shaman has some pretty cool stuff, actually.
Yeah, he does. He has this, like, I don't know, mask and a...
He summoned 160 Serpent Wards. It's important to know how many you've summoned.
That's only 16 summons.
This guy clearly doesn't have much experience on the hero, but we're back in, guys. We are unpaused, and, well, both the towers are going to take damage as expected. Sad is going to get a little bit of experience from this one, and Batrider can't do jack up top, so they're both going to take even amount of damage, though mid lane is still being pushed out by Cyberlin. Does have an exorcism available, though he doesn't have the mana for it. It looks like the race in killing off this tower is going to be fairly even still. Who do you think is going to win this?
Ooh, I'm changing some settings so I don't lag again.
Okay, well, it's too late because Razor already took it down, so top 5 they narrowly win the race, although it's not by too long. Razor kills his tower, Viper kills his, and well, we're going to continue as normal. Cyberlin rotating down to the bottom lane, has a double damage rune, and Sad looking for an opening onto Patsoul. He's going to get hexed up and probably shackled as well, although here comes Cyberlin. Doesn't have a silence, but the double damage is going to be more than enough to annihilate the Shadow Shaman. Now she's going to pop the Exorcism, or thinking about it at least. The Centaur is going to go down to Patsoul one more time. That's the 4th kill for the Razor. Jericho also rotating in, got a face full of Plasma Field. Not exactly what you want to have happen. It's a successful rotation from the Death Prophet, I guess, and now she's holding on to 2,200 gold. She's pretty wealthy. If it was going to be Yule Scepter, I think she would have gotten most of it already. Do you think she's going to go for something else?
She might be going for Bloodstone, although I don't like the build. That's probably what she's going for. I have no idea. I would expect you just buy the components of Yule Scepter. She might just want to one-shot buy it, I don't know, for kicks and giggles. 2,500 gold, she's getting dangerously close to having that completed if she wants it. Honestly, the only item that I can think of the build-up being larger than this would be a Radiance, but I highly doubt it. I think she's just going to go back to base and complete up the Yules.
Yeah, Voidstone would have helped her quite a bit, actually. She was kind of strapped for mana on her trip down to the bottom lane, or a Staff of Wizardry would have helped. Really, anything from the Yule Scepter would have helped, but deciding to hold on to her gold, and we'll take a quick look at what she actually wants to buy. It looks like the answer is going to be nothing. They're instead going to try to go for Us, who's going to use Sleight of Fist, and he does have a jump out, although the Stampede is there. He's going to get stomped, and he's going to get very quickly brought down, although Sad taking a lot of damage as well. Us is still alive, actually. They're going to kill off the Centaur for the umpteenth time. That's the 4th death for him. Glimpse back onto Us. He will jump to his Remnant and dodge the Glimpse. In fact, the Spirit's still going at him a little bit. He will be able to survive. Linga, also in the area, has Serpent Wards to deploy, but this Exorcism from Cyberlin overall has just been a pretty large waste, as it didn't actually result in anything except for the death of the teammate, the Centaur.
Yeah, and that's going to be on cooldown for quite some time. Death Prophet's not level 11, so it's not the biggest cooldown to waste, and it's just going to be a one-shot bot Yule Scepter. Kind of as expected, but then again, if she had that, and multiple times it would have been very useful, maybe could have caught a kill there. Chasing down somebody, throwing him up in the air. I don't know. It doesn't actually matter. Let's see, I've said, I don't know, too many times today. Let's, go into the other lanes. As Patsoul is currently farming up bottom, he's going to pick himself up a Drums. As far as the other items that anybody's snagged, we are going to be working towards a Aghanim Scepter on Benyaz after he completes up the mechanism. But both teams are just kind of going to chill as we're waiting for the crucial Blink Daggers on the side of top 5. Batrider very close to his. Sand King not too far away. We're probably going to see it at before 15 minutes, although he's a lot further away than the Batrider is. The Batrider first Blink initiation is going to come very shortly, just 2 creeps or so.
Yeah, Fly's actually getting quite a bit of space in this middle lane, which is something you don't ordinarily see. Support's just getting a free lane anywhere, really, let alone a middle lane. So he's going to make good on that farm, although he's now forced to teleport down to the bottom and try to help out. The Illusions are going to scout out, and they won't spot anyone yet, but now they'll spot out too. Fly and Linga are both caught completely in the jungle, although no real follow-up just yet, so they will be able to walk out. It's going to be Patsoul's in the most trouble. Jericho does have Thunderstrike on him, so they do see Patsoul fully. Sad going to take a full damage Plasma Field. That's never good. Now the glimpse back onto Patsoul. That was pretty weak, although Stad is going to jump right in. He's going to get hexed up, so he has to leave. Patsoul getting focused down. He does pop up the mech, and now here comes top 5's Bat. They're going to get the lasso onto Benyaz, but he's still very strong, and he's still fighting. Sad is going to get meched up now, and he's going to survive. Serpent Wards are deployed. Sad as well as Jericho, both very weak, but it looks like they both will escape. The Song of the Siren is going to, in fact, let everyone from Union Gaming escape. They get 2 kills, and it looks like that'll be it, although Austin is going to chase further. Cyberlin is still going to turn around for this one, waiting for the Spirits to return to herself, although it's going to be a little bit too long for her. She's completely tapped out of mana, and now Osh is going to need one more right click. It's not quite going to be enough. Death Prophet's still willing to chase this one out. Osh has another Sleight of Fist that would have killed off the Death Prophet, but in the end, Union Gaming, though they don't get the tower, they force out the Serpent Wards, and they get 2 kills, and they don't lose a single person. A lot of credit going to the Song of the Siren there.
Yeah, Song of the Siren at this point in the game is a very long cooldown, but that's completely fine. If you're going to use it and win a team fight because of it, although not a clear win as far as map objectives are concerned, I'll call that a win for Union Gaming. Exorcism, again, is going to do very little, but we're getting very close to Cyberlin's level 11 Exorcism Ultimate. That's just going to be that big of a jump of power. They've already taken all of the Tier 1 towers down, but with that tool, they have a little bit of an opening and go for Tier 2s. All those boards will be up by that time, and they might just wait for Song of the Siren. We're probably just going to chill until somebody gets picked off.
In top 5, they're going to be more than happy with waiting. Again, this Sand King does need his Blink Dagger. The Bat Rider, he does have his Blink Daggers waiting for a Lasso to cool down, and even if they catch Cyberlin, I don't know if they could burst her down. Well, with everyone in the mid lane, they certainly can. Ember Spirit, not too farmed still, kind of to be expected given how crappy his laning stage was, but UG, they're just going to go for round 2 down the bottom lane. The tower did survive in that last push. Lots of the exorcism damage was not directed towards the tower, so it'll be very easily brought down for them. But the rest of top 5, they're in the middle lane, and Serpent Wards are going to be cooling down shortly. This could be a defense from Union Gaming, but I don't know if they actually want to risk it. I don't see a reason to. They could probably just sack this tower.
Yeah, let's see, with level 2 Exorcism cooling off in 1 second, they might just go for Tier 2s and give the Tier 1 tower in mid. Fly, instead of saving up for the Blink Dagger, is going to buy Arcane Boots, and I very much dislike this choice by the Sand King. That's going to delay his Blink Dagger by at least another 5 minutes, if not more. The Blink initiations to the Sand King are going to be non-existent. Tier 2 tower on bottom, they do have a glyph to delay this, and they're going to pop it to get people into position, but they're not close enough, it seems, to get this Tier 2 tower saved. Although they are jumping in with the Bat Rider initiation, they are going to find the initiation onto Seidel, and now follow up with the Burrow Strike and Fly. Now the Static Storm on the ground, it's going to be a pretty good one on the Fly as well as Patzel, but they get the kill on the Death Prophet crucially, and also save their Tier 2 on the backlines. They are looking for any chains, although the Glimpse back is going to keep the Ember Spirit away from them. Jericho is going to be shackled up, Burrow Strike, and now brought down by Patzel, and, well, looking for Benyas. They're not going to be able to find him as the chains are shot by Os. They are going to land on creeps, as he didn't have the Sleight of Fist. So, 2 kills going the way of top 5 is Linga LOLs in all chat.
I'm pretty sure that was at Os's attempt of
I think
fist
so.
chains, but I don't know, it didn't seem that hilarious to me. Regardless, it is going to be UG losing 2 heroes. The Bat Rider showing his initiation prowess pretty well, though sad. He's going to find Os. He needs 3 more mana. 2, 1. Hoof Stomp Double Edge is probably going to get this kill. Alright, sad. I think he's just waiting for the troll to just do more damage to the Ember Spirit. Why not, right? So, yeah, there it is. Hoof Stomp Double Edge. Surprise! It's going to be a Centaur out of frickin' nowhere. Going to give him a free kill.
And he also gets the Centaur last hit for good measure. Blink Dagger secured by Centaur. He's going to go back to base, refuel up on mana. But yeah, the Blink Dagger from the Centaur is going to be pretty impactful in this game, especially if they can catch out the likes of the Ember Spirit. If he doesn't have a Remnant out, he should, in all honesty. But if they're able to catch him out, could be really huge. Also, if they initiate on the Bat Rider before the Bat Rider initiates onto them, it's going to be pretty much a one-team fight. Razor picks himself up with the Power Treads. He has a lot of good stat items for himself, but Patzel isn't angled as late as the Viper is with his build. Disruptor gets killed on the Sand King as they're fighting. Where are they fighting? They go to get a lasso onto Jericho, pulling it back into the Linga, who's going to shackle him inside the fire, and they'll be able to bring down the Disruptor. 1-for-1 support trade. I'm going to say that favors Union Gaming because it's a kill on the Sand King. And actually, Sand King, it doesn't matter that he died because he buys an urn before his hopes for a Blink Dagger are all but gone.
If he didn't buy the urn, if he didn't buy the Arcane Boots, he definitely would have had it by now. The Arcane Boots, right after he purchased them, he went back up to 900 gold, so that would have been just 200 gold away from picking up your complete Arcane Boots. His Blink Dagger, rather. He's never going to have this item. Like, he will have it eventually, but, like, honestly, it's not going to be in time for anything, as their top lane tier 2 is going to be pushed. Disruptor taking out that Sand King by himself was pretty easy because the Sand King didn't actually have anything. Now Cyberlin is going to throw himself up to the air. Viper Strike going onto the Bat Rider. Centaur is going to completely whiff of his Blink Dagger, though. Now he's going to get Burrow Struck and brought down very quickly. Sad is so sad. And now Nether Connect Field is going to catch 3. Unfortunately, Static Storm was used to kill off that Sand King, so they can't actually do anything off this. Death Prophet's going to get healed up back to full due to her Exorcism, and they could consider turning around UG, although without the Centaur to initiate, I don't know if they should. Os is still chasing this one out. Doesn't have a single point Flame Guard. He's going to get hit pretty hard by all this magical damage, though he does have a jump out if he really wants to. There's a Flame Break pushing Jericho back and the Steering Chains. Jericho in a little bit of an awkward position. Don't go up there, Jericho. That's a terrible idea. Fly, you're going to get a Burrow Strike onto Benyas. He's going to drop him pretty low, but now the Static Storm not going to kill off Fly, but the Glimpse back will kill him off in the end. Patzel also sitting in that static, and he will go drop pretty low. Everyone else from UG, it looks like they're going to survive, so it's once again somehow only the Disruptor and Sand King go down after the Centaur went down. But yeah, I expected a lot more to happen. I guess the fact that Viper wasn't doing any damage kind of really stymied UG's aggression.
Sand King tried to channel his epicenter there, and it got cancelled by the static storm of the disruptors, so that's going to be on cooldown for quite a long time. Honestly, it's not the biggest deal since he doesn't have a blink dagger. You'll Scepter up in the air on the Razor, but they're going to be pulled back Ciderlin into the Razor. He's going to get a link off, and now Ciderlin's going to be brought down very quickly, just caught out in a very awkward situation where the Batrider, he's there, and yeah, Razor was also there, and then he wasn't. Yeah, it's just very scary for the Death Prophet to be pushing out alone. That was probably just a little over-aggressive.
That was actually the Death Prophet trying to get a kill on the Razor. Like, Razor was about at the amount of HP that you see right now, so Death Prophet figured, hey, I'll just throw a Crypt Storm or two, and it'll be a very easy kill. But unfortunately for her, the Razor has a ton of health. Like, he has mech, drums, and the point booster, so he's sitting very comfortably at 1600, though he may be low on HP. He'll hold that thought because Jericho is going to get initiated one more time. He's going to throw the kinetic field in desperation. Mech is going to come in through Benyaz. Not going to do a damn thing, though, because Disruptor is already dead. Shadow Shaman is going to secure that kill. But yeah, the Death Prophet, unfortunately, just can't do enough burst damage and then was way overcommitted. Sad is going to land a very nice 3-man hoof stomp, 2-man double edge, but there's simply no follow-up. He's going to get hexed and obliterated. Where the hell is the rest of UG? Because that was as good of initiation as you could possibly want. And now they're going to use Song? What the hell is going on, UG? They're just going to clean up the wards, I guess. Ciderlin going to move forward, but now they're going to jump in onto Zinder. Into Lasso they go, and they're going to try to steal as much damage as they can with Patzel on the front lines. Actually going to steal damage from Ciderlin instead of the Viper. The Batrider off to the side, taking a good amount of damage, but he's still surviving as Patzel, sitting strong, and now the Burrow Strike onto Benyaz. Going to shock him down and bring him very low. They will kill him off. No Lasso to reinitiate on this one in top 5. I think they should back off right about now. If they had a Blink Dagger on the Sand King, maybe they would want to go back in, but unfortunately they don't. They get quite a bit in going for that push. As Union Gaming, they're kind of caught unawares. Austin's going to get thrown up into the air, and Yule Cyclone at the same time. He will slip out of the kinetic field, though, so he has a chance of surviving at this. He will Ember Spirit jump away. He will be just fine. In fact, they're going to kill off the Naga Siren in response, and now Fly waiting for his Burrow Strike. 3, 2, 1, Burrow Strike. It's going to be too far. Death Prophet is really fast with those Phase Boots, plus the Yule Scepter, and Sand King, unfortunately, still doesn't have a Blink Dagger. Still is 900 gold away. Top 5, they take a very nice series of engagements. As UG, they kind of just run around and don't do anything, really.
Yeah, it was a very awkward way to start that fight with a really nice host stomp coming out from the Centaur, but then there was no team to follow it up. Naga Siren walks into the song, they clean up the Serp wards, and then they die. Like, it just didn't make any sense how they went in there. Maybe if they had a Static Storm to drop on top of it, but nobody was really in position to fight, and they just kind of ran in, one after each other. Oh, we're going in, let's use our spells, and it didn't work.
You can't really expect those to work, and that's going to give Sand King a lot of gold. Still, he is so far away from a Blink Dagger. If he had it, that fight would have just been so much easier for top 5, but I guess having an urn as well isn't too terrible. Like, it got a couple charges, he used it a couple times to heal people up and stuff like that, and crucially it gave the Batrider a 4-staff, or completed 4-staff rather, and Razor's 1,000 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter. So top 5 after that fight, I mean, they also have drums in the Ember Spirit. He's still not farming the best. He's very far down on the net worth chart, at least compared to where your Ember Spirit you would really want him to be. But he's contributing a good amount, and he's surviving. So what more could you really ask for? UG, they're going to try to go for Roshan. It should be pretty easy for them, but they're going to lose a tier 1 tower in response.
It's a trade we see often. It's not too much inside of favor of either team. I'm going to say that this is going to favor top 5. Although that, oh my goodness. Although if Union Gaming are able to get a tier 2 tower off of that Aegis, that presumably is going to go the way of the... Oh, Viper. I was going to say Death Prophet. Either way, Viper probably a better Aegis carrier. He's going to return the damage that's done to him with the Corrosive Skin, as well as just being tankier on the front line. So be able to play super aggressive with that. But yeah, into the tier 2 tower up top 5 are going to go, and with the server wards down on the ground, they might be able to make a pretty good fight of this one, as the tier 2 tower is going to be glyphed, but that's going to wear off now. It's going to drop at least a half health, probably just straight up fall. If they get this tower, it's going to be a very favorable trade for top 5. Is now, looking for a Blink Dagger initiation. The Song's going to come out with the Naga Siren, as the Batrider just can't get in range. The Serpent Wards are still not focused down everybody. If they get Static Field onto 2, but the Kinetic Field only holds in Patzel. Now the Burrow Strike Epicenter onto Zinder. They're going to be able to get the Naga Siren down, but she's already used her Song. Patzel being focused down by the Viper. Now the Link going the way of Benyaz. Benyaz trying to get the kill on the Razor. Will be able to find it, but not before 56 damage is stolen. Now he's focused down between 3 heroes. 4 heroes, in fact. Zamber Spirit bounces back into the fight. He's going to lose the Aegis almost immediately. Now the Glimpse back. They're going to pull back in the Amber Spirit and burst him down with a nice hoof stomp double edge, and now try to clear up the Serpent Wards. Is there anybody that's going to be caught in the retreat? Fly is going to TP out towards the south and down towards the north. Oh my goodness. We are going to have Sidolin run away. He'll be fine with the phase boots as well as the Kiilstofte. He's going to be able to get out to safety. Tier 2 tower did fall in the favor of top 5. I don't think it was denied. Yeah, Shadowstorm gets that with his wards during the entirety of that fight. Although, it still went pretty good for Union Gaming. I think better than I thought it would.
Yeah, it seems like top 5 had that pretty comfortably, especially once they kind of drew out the Naga Siren ultimate and used the Epicenter to annihilate her. Top 5, they had the weirdest attempted initiation from the Batrider. Like, he could have blunked in straight to the Naga Siren, but instead did this weird, like, wraparound thing behind the Tier 2 tower and ended up just chasing the Naga Siren and didn't catch up to her, so that certainly didn't work. And despite the fact that Batrider didn't get the initiation that top 5 really wanted, the fight didn't go too terribly for them. They got the Tier 2 tower and they killed off the Aegis as well, so all things considered, I think top 5 should be pretty okay with how that went. And again, it's going to give them a nice little chunk of gold now. Sand King finally does have his Blink Dagger. About time, man. This is about standard Earthshaker timing. That's kind of not impressive. They're going to look for more kills. The Batrider on the front lines is going to not fly just yet. Although if he did, I'm pretty sure he would have gone straight for the Viper. That would have been such an easy kill for the top 5 team. They're going to wrap around instead and look for Sad. Oh, they see him. Sad is going to be his namesake, pulled back into a whole swarm of angry top 5 heroes. Goodbye, Centaur. Now here comes Sidewell. He's going to pop out the Exorcism and try to go for Patsoul, but the nice 2-man Burrow Strike is going to distract the rest of the team as Jericho dropping very low. Patsoul dropping low as well. He's going to get burned down by the Death Prophet, and now top 5, they're kind of forced to fight behind the 2 tower. Less than ideal. They're going to pop the song, though. UG. They're stopping the show for some reason. They could have killed the Batrider by now. There's a Static Storm. Kinetic Field is too late, though. Everyone else is already gone. Batrider is going to just straight blink out of there. Pretty huge mistake, I would say, as Ember Spirit going to jump out, try to escape as well. Top 5, they lost 3 already. I don't think anyone else is going to die unless Oscar throws it up into the air. It's going to be close, but he will be able to survive. UG, they use the song really awkwardly, and they completely mess up with that Static Storm, but just the Death Prophet killing off the Razor first thing in the fight is probably just game-winning for them. And now Naga Siren, whoa! She's been rushing in Radiance this entire time. This is no support Siren.
Not anymore. 25 minutes for a Naga Siren to get a Radiance is not too shabby, even if you're rushing it as a core and you've died a couple of times. But this Siren, as a support, has just been quietly farming up. Currently 112 CS. Yeah, she's been farming this whole game, and I thought this was a support. But yeah, this is going to shore up Union Gaming's late game nicely. As Jericho, man fighting up against the creeps is going to fall low, but wow, that came completely out of left field. I thought this Naga Siren was going to go for like Arcane's drums or something with the gold that she was pulling, but nope. It's just going to be a completed Radiance. There you go.
I thought she was going to go for nothing because she was too poor, because she's a support and she shouldn't have that much gold, but apparently she found a whole lot of gold, and I didn't see her pick up the Relic. I don't think that was a straight shot Radiance. That would have been pretty sweet if it was, but hell, I mean, that's a nice item to have for the team in general. It's just like another one of those auras that's always very nice. Siderlin going to run to the Batrider, is going to just place down an Observer Ward, although Siderlin should know where that one was placed, so the warding from top 5 is fairly obvious. Like, they came in from the north after spotting at the Centaur. That should have been a very clear Observer Ward placement. So, UG, they should have their pretty easy time dewarding all of this if they were paying attention. And they don't have any sentries just yet. I don't think they're going to go for them in quite a while. Jericho's as the other support for UG. He's also been farming quite a bit. He's got the urn, and he has 2,000 gold. So compare that to the Sand King, who has the urn, Arcane Boots, and a Blink Dagger. Jericho's not too far away, and you would expect the Sand King to have a lot more gold than the Disruptor. Big smoke up, though, from top 5. They're going to look for Zinder, and they're going to catch and annihilate this Naga Siren. She popped off her song, actually. She tried to. It was highlighted, but ultimately a little bit too slow. And she's going to go down, and then off of that, top 5, this Tier 2 tower should also drop. Aghanim Scepter on the Razor, plus Serpent Wards if they need it, should be a very easy pick.
Yeah, it probably should, although they're going to drop the Serpent Wards. There you go. Tier 2 tower is probably going to fall very quickly. In fact, they're going to go up to the high ground, looking for initiation, not going to find it. Kinetic Field, going to trap in Os. I'm not even sure if he knew that was going on. Apparently, the Ember Spirit Fire Remnants can't go out of Kinetic Field. Learn something new every day, but the Tier 2 tower is going to fall in the favor of the Shadow Shaman. Yet another tower going his way, and that's going to be another 1,000 gold on top of his 4 staff. It's going to be pretty useful for him. But yeah, top 5, they just find a really nice pickoff and rotate that nicely into a tower. Pretty easy for them. Os, his item progression is not there. As nice as it is to see this Naga Siren transition into a carry, Ember Spirit has Phase Drums and a Ghost Scepter. This Ember Spirit's not going to be hitting hard for quite a large portion of this game, if he's going to hit hard at all. Yeah, the Naga dying there is pretty big. The Naga Siren's actually turned off her Radiance, which I love when you're going for a smoke like this. But she's currently on the backlines microing her illusions anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. But currently looking for somebody. If they find out the Batrider is sanking, it should be a pretty easy kill as long as they get the initiation from the Centaur. No smoke's going to pop in. It's going to be ships passing in the night. It's sad. It's not going to find anybody, but the sanking is sticking around. Fly needs to get out of there. Will he get out of there in time? I don't think so. Here comes the Centaur. Shiva's Guard to start things off. Going to cancel Blink Dagger Fly, and there you go. Burst Strike initiation. They're going to obliterate Fly. Although they miss a War Stomp, it's not going to matter as 4 enemy heroes against the sanking. Sanking loses every time.
Very similar to how Top 5 just picked off the Naga Siren and then transitioned that into a push. UG, they're going to do the exact same thing. Exorcism is level 2, and it's more than enough to take down this Tier 2 tower. They don't even need it because the Tier 2 tower is pretty much already dead. So UG, they could actually go for high ground off of this. They have 20 seconds where the Sand King is out of commission, so 5v4 UG should be able to win any fight very convincingly, except, Batrider is still alive. It's something to be aware of, not something to really fear, I would say. They're going to take down the tower very easily, and now they're looking to throw someone up into the air. Probably not us, although if they could, they probably will. If they land the silence, and this might be a dead... Oh, no, it's not going to happen. Okay, Hoof Stomp also missing. I've got to say, Sad has not been on the mark this game with Centaur. Regardless, they're going to go for it. Exorcism is out, and now with Viper Strike onto the Ember Spirit, he's going to very slowly Fire Rem his way out, and Batrider off to the south looking for initiation. UG, they don't have a creep wave, though, and Cyberlin is going to peek his head up. The chains are once again going to miss from Oss. I'm not impressed by this Ember Spirit, and I don't think I will be, because he will never be doing damage in this game. So they're just waiting for another creep wave. Unfortunately for UG, they don't have any more exorcisms, so they might get a glimpse back onto Linga, and they will. This is going to be a dead Shadow Shaman, but they're lining up for a Burrow Strike. Fly is going to arm the Epicenter. It'll do literally nothing to anybody as he does Burrow Strike in, but Benyas has BKB active. Buyback from the Shadow Shaman, and the Kinetic Field Stack Storm is down. They're going to go for Fly. They'll bring him down in an instant, and Linga also going to be brought down. Buyback from the Sand King now as Top 5, they get their initiation, but it's on to Sidrlin. Can they kill him off? No, they can't because it's on the Storm, although they will be able to. Firefly, I think, doing the job there. It's going to be a 3-for-1, I believe, and now Oz looking for more. He's going to get stomped up. No, it's actually going to be Batrider getting stomped up, and now Top 5, they've breached, and they're going to go for anyone they could get their hands on, though 2 TPs out. Naga Siren does kill off the Batrider. Sad going to get force staffed out. Fire Remnant jump forward, and Sad's still alive, although not for long. He'll get poked, and he will get killed. Patsoul getting a glimpse back. Benya's completely out of mana, and Oz is actually pretty healthy right now. He's going to get a 2-kill. Fly's coming in from the behind. He does have a Burrow Strike available onto Benyaz. Can they kill off this Viper? I think the fact that Viper has no mana means that they can probably get away with it, although Corrosive Skin still doing quite a lot of damage, and Benyaz wants to fight this one out 1v2. It's going to be close. Another Burrow Strike is available. There it is. Another Fire Remnant jump forward. Benyaz is going to get 1. Going to get 2. Oh, man, you do not mess with Viper because Viper will mess up your day. That's 160 bonus damage from Nether Toxin. That's too much.
That was the saddest kill I think I've ever seen. Saddest double kill at that. They wanted him so bad, and they just couldn't do it. Yeah, Viper popped one, popped the other. It was all over from there. Viper now sitting on 4,200 gold, where he probably should have died. Naga Siren and all of that buys boost of travel, but they're on cooldown, so she wasn't able to join that fight again. It didn't matter as they were able to clean everybody up. I think that's a full team wipe, all said and done. At the very least, it is a dieback on the Sand King, and the Shadow Shaman was forced to buy back as well. But yeah, this Naga Siren now with the boots of travel, Aquila, she's going to start transitioning very heavily into that carry role, and it's something I actually like seeing, especially when you're running a core like a Centaur that's not going to be farming much at all throughout the game, with the exception being the early portions. It's actually working out for Union Gaming for now. Despite not being relevant on her own, the other heroes, at least for the next 10 minutes, can hold the fort while the Naga Siren gets her farm. And by that time, Naga Siren will have a completed item or 2. On top of this, Naga Siren just farms so incredibly fast.
And it's pretty common that you see Naga Sirens attempt to transition into a carry-ish damage build after they start off, and well, actually Jericho is going to run into a whole boatload of heroes. He's going to land a Static Storm, which will actually prevent Fly from Burrow Striking him. That actually worked out pretty well for the Disruptor, and now the Stampede is there. They're going to glimpse back Linga straight into a whole swarm of heroes. They're going to quickly bring down the Shadow Shaman. Viper Strike on the Batrider. They'll bring him down as well. Exorcism was committed for this one, but I think they can just go for a straight push down bottom, even though that is the case. With no Exorcism, that's going to be slower, but they should be fine to do it nonetheless, because they are working with a pretty nice advantage here. But yeah, what was I saying? The Naga Siren, they usually transition a lot softer than Radiance travels. This is like as hard carry as you could possibly get, at least for a Naga Siren. It's usually just Diffusal or Manta or a Yasha or something like that, or after Helvin's Halberd. So this is a full-on carry Naga Siren build, and transitioning from a support into this type of build is very rarely seen because you could rarely ever get the gold for the relic, let alone the completed radiance. So it's a pretty nice transition for UG. It's not one that you'll see every day. I could almost guarantee that. And well, they're going to go for Roshan straight after. There's still no Bat Rider, so they don't have to worry about the most scary hero from top 5. They don't have Exorcism deployed right now, but it looks like they'll just jump forward for the Kinetic Field and Patzel, wait the seconds, and then glimpse him back right into a Centaur stop. No, BKB, and Razor actually wants to turn this one around. He's all alone, though. He's going to get the static link onto Benyaz. It won't last for very long, only stealing 28, and that's a BKB down. That was actually a pretty bad turnaround by Patzel. Going to try to steal the Roshan from underneath UG, but I don't really know if this is what they want to do. Exorcism isn't available. They do have the Bat Rider and Serpent Wards deployed. They probably can go for this, actually. And UG, they're going to let that happen. Sad's bailing. Okay, UG, they lose the Aegis.
Yeah, apparently so. I didn't think they'd be able to successfully do that, but Union Gaming are going to be happy with what they're getting on the other portions of the map, apparently. That's going to secure an Aegis, presumably, for Patzel. Looks like he's going to be the one to pick it up. Either the Storm does persist through VKB, which will be very useful for them, but I'm not sure it's enough. They're going to get vision in the pit, and we might see some clutch steals. I don't know, there's nobody with the blink close enough. Although, it looks like they might look for a fight after Roshan falls. Razor is going to secure himself the Aegis, although they're down Serpent Wards. So even though they have 2 lives on the Razor, this still might be an opening for Union Gaming as they get a glimpse onto Linga, and Linga is silenced up. There's nowhere he can run. He's just going to be destroyed. Exorcism pop by Death Prophet. They want in and get a nice double of stomp. Now Static Storm onto everybody. No kinetic field to follow up, but that's going to be 2, at least 3 kills. There's your double kill for Benyaz. The Razor's going to lose his Aegis as Death Prophet's on the other side of this fight, but they kinetic field up Patzel. He can't fight between this many enemy heroes. Now the Hoof Stomp double edge. It's going to do a lot of damage back to Sad, but Benyaz beyond godlike. Triple kill for him. What a beautiful Static Storm. How many times do you get to see that just fighting in such a small little choke there? Yeah, unfortunate there wasn't a kinetic field, but that's so much.
I mean, who cares it wasn't a kinetic field? That was a great stomp from Sad, and then an even better Static Storm from Disruptor. And then after that, it was just clean up for top 5. Unfortunately, their Razor, because he did use the BKB before that Roshan engagement, he had it, by the time he resurrected again, he had it literally 3 seconds away from being used. I don't know if that would have made a difference, but just unfortunate timing for this Razor. Didn't have it available, so no options is always never what you want to see. And now they're going to lose a tier 3 tower. Now they might even lose Raxes. Again, UG, they don't really push that fast, but with no one to actually repel them, it's going to be more than fast enough as they do take down the melee Raxes very, very comfortably. And they're going to go for range as well. Without the Razor, top 5 simply can't defend, and because they're not defending, they're going to lose the entirety of their mid lane. And it looks like everyone from UG will back off successfully. Top lane is also being pushed at the exact same time. Siren Illusions pushing out this wave relentlessly. Not really anything that top 5 could do with no one alive, and bottom lane also pushing. So UG, they take a fantastic fight, and now they're looking for a win shortly. Once Exorcism comes back available, I think they're going to try to go for high ground once again.
I think so. There's no real pressure for them to go high ground. The Naga Siren now has a completed Manta style on top. They've won that team fight very convincingly, 4v5, without even Naga Illusion to give them Radiance burn. Yeah, it just doesn't matter right now. The Naga Siren, if nothing else, it's something to fall back on for Union Gaming. But yeah, I think they can just go straight up high ground. There's very little stopping them. If they had a Naga Song to set up a Static Storm, we might see a repeat at least 3-man Static Storm if they can find them clumped up enough. And this Ember Spirit, although in theory he's a good late game hero, this Ember Spirit isn't going to be. I have no idea what he's going to build, but it's just not going to be enough. He isn't able to farm at all. His farm is looking closer to that of the Disruptor than of the Viper, and let alone the Naga Siren and the other heroes on their side. Patzel is going to be Viper struck up as well as Silence, but they can't commit any more to that. It's still going to be annoying for Patzel to deal with, and an Aghanim Scepter on the Viper will mean that nothing is lost for Union Gaming. They can do this all day.
Bat right up to the side, he's going to jump in, get a lasso onto Ciderl, and then force staff his way out, but not far enough with the Viper Strike slowing him down. Jericho's going to land a very nice Static Storm once again with a 2-man stop. Linga's down, Fly is going to soon to follow. That's 3 down already for top 5 as Patzel stuck in the middle of everything. BKB or not, he is going to die, and he's going to die very quickly. Oss is now going to be chased down. He's silenced. He's going to get hit with the Rod of Atos, picked up by someone, I don't really know who. Don't really think it matters either. Oss is going to try to double jump away. He actually double jumps straight into Benyaz, and GG is going to be called straight after that. Oh man, it looked like a much closer game than it really was, but the fact that the Ember Spirit never did anything, not really a good situation for top 5.
Yeah, as poorly as the early game was for the Centaur, those last couple of fights for them with the Disruptor really worked out. Those last Static Storms were amazing. So yeah, that's going to be the game. I'm not sure if much else can happen if you're fighting 4v5 effectively. Not to take away from Oz as a player, I think he was running with ping issues, but you just can't have that. Your Ember Spirit doing nothing, it doesn't help at all.
Alright guys, that's going to be it for game number 1. There is game number 2 coming up very shortly, so don't go anywhere because there is going to be another one of these games. And hopefully it's a little bit closer, but we'll see. Later guys.